Krishna. Today, this Sunday feast is the lecture or the class is. I'm going to try to focus on the qualities of Lord Ram. But before I begin, there are many of you in attendance who are in many ways very senior to me and have done the service of sharing the message of Krishna consciousness for many years. And so sometimes when I look at all of you who I'm referring to, I feel like, sometimes for kids we teach them dance or piano or violin, and then we set up a concert, and then we say, go and perform, and the parents derive great satisfaction when their kids go up. Any of you have kids who go to piano classes or harmonium or violin or, come on. Okay. Do you like to see your kids perform? So I'm hoping today that by this service of sharing whatever little I can, I am able to please those of you who have been very instrumental in sharing Krishna consciousness with me. I offer my respectful obeisances to all of my spiritual masters who opened my darkened eyes and continue to do so every day with the torch of knowledge and their love and unending patience. So before we begin, or we've actually begun, so I would like to start off with a song. It's the Dasavatar Stotra by H.G.Shyama, and it talks about or glorifies 10 incarnations of the Lord. And today, because we're focusing on Lord Ram, we can sing together. For those of you who know the song, we'll sing together. For those of you who don't know, the words are on the screen, and I will quickly read the translation so you know what we're saying. O Keshava, O Lord of the universe, O Lord Hari, who have assumed the form of Ramachandra, all glory is to you. In the battle of Lanka, you destroyed the 10-headed Ravana and distributed his heads as a delightful offering to the presiding deities of the 10 directions, a feat long desired by all of them, whom that monster had much harassed. So we'll sing this together, and let's start. Yeah, we'll sing it a few times, just to get into the mood of Lord Ram. Specifically, this prayer glorifies Lord Ram as the one who took care of, sorted the activities of the 10-headed Dashamukha Ravana, and how everybody rejoiced. Ramaniyam, everybody was so happy when he did that because it was much awaited. So we'll sing it together, and we'll sing it a few times so that those of you, first we'll sing slow, and then Vitarasi Shurane Dipati Kamaniyam Dashamukhamolim Balim Ramaniyam. Let's do it again. Vitarasi Shurane Dipati Kamaniyam Dashamukhamolim Balim. One more time. most of you know the story about Lord Ram, the story of Ramayana. For those of you who don't know and would like to know, we have many copies of the Ramayana available at the desk outside. This is a Gujarati copy. English copies are sold out, but we can take pre-orders if you'd like. So, something that I often wonder is that, the Lord is supremely powerful. So why does he need to arrange for this acrobatic pastime, as we like to say? First he goes off to a forest, he's supposed to stay there for 14 years. He's the Lord, he doesn't really need to do all of that. He could have arranged Kekai to not get affected by Mankara. He could have arranged for, Kekai to just have higher intelligence. He didn't need to do it. So why did Lord Ram have to go to the forest for 14 years? And then, if that wasn't enough, somebody came and kidnapped his wife. And he could have sorted him out with a snap of a finger, right? Because he's the Lord, he created everything. But he didn't do that. He engaged, who did he engage? The monkeys. Like, of all people and of all species, 8.4 million species of life, he chose who? The monkeys. And he asked them to help him out. They found Mother Sita. Then they built a bridge all the way to Lanka, because Lord Ram can't fly, can he? Of course he can fly, but he still did it. And why does he need to do all of this? Our scriptures tell us whenever and wherever, the famous verse that is many times quoted, Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya. So whenever there is a decline in religious practices and an increase in people who do not so good things, the Lord appears to sort them out. But does he really need to come to sort them out? He can, in the first place, just take care of them without coming. So why does he come? Again, our scriptures tell us that he comes because he would like to give pleasure to the devotees. The word we saw in this song, Ramaniyam, is the pleasure, the happiness of the devotees. Because when the Lord comes, we talk about him, we take pleasure in glorifying the pastimes of the Lord. So specifically, when I was reflecting on it, I thought that I could think of three things that happen when the Lord enacts these pastimes of coming to the earth and, behaving like a human being when he doesn't need to. The first one, and all of them fall under the umbrella of giving pleasure to the devotees, engaging their mind and heart, and captivating it with his beautiful stories. The first one I thought of was engagement to the heart and the mind. So many of us see that many artists, they glorify Ramayana, they write songs and they make paintings. The dancers like to dance on Ramayana. Drama artists, they put up Ram Leela performances. Anybody who's very creative may like to build a Ramayana for the Shera. Anybody used to do that for the Shera as a kid? I did it. And I went to the Ram Leela also. So it's engagement for the mind and the senses. People like to do it, it makes their heart happy. The second thing I thought of why, of course falling under the same umbrella, is it gives us values. The scriptures, the stories, the pastimes of the Lord. If the Lord never came, we could never say, see, when Lord Ram was a child, he used to listen to his parents. Right, Little Bhatta? So, we use these to teach our children values. That's how most of us learned about the Ramayana. Somebody read it to us, somebody told us the stories, we watched it on television maybe. So, giving values to how people can live their lives. And the third one, which is, when we hear these stories, unlike any other stories that we hear or any other magazines that we read or television shows that we watch, they purify our heart. They make us advance spiritually, and they gradually lead us onwards to the path of bhakti. So these three things, engagement for the heart and the mind, values for everybody to live by, and purification for our journey on the spiritual path. Of course, there are many lessons. The more we read and study the Ramayana, the more we can say that there are lessons for everybody. It depends on the lens you wear. Sometimes you can see so many different lessons come up and pop out. Today, I wanted to share three lessons which really stuck with me, and I felt of value to share. And so with that mood, I wanted to share three lessons from the pastimes of Lord Ram. The first lesson, well, let's backtrack. So the reason why I like these lessons is because it gives us hope. And everybody in this world, at one point or the other, has been battered up, nothing's working out, or maybe some things are not working out till eventually everything stops working, and then you're like, what am I doing? We need hope. We need hope to get up next day and try to do something. So these three qualities or three lessons give me hope, and I hope that by sharing it, it will give you hope. So the hope will grow. And the first lesson that I wanted to share is the power of association. Who we associate with makes us who we are. It defines how we make our decisions. And if you're in a position of responsibility, which all of us are, at home, at work, in the society, it impacts everybody around us. And the example from the Ramayana is that Kekai was very happy, when Lord Ram it was announced that Lord Ram would be coronated. She was so happy. She couldn't be happier. She felt like this was the perfection of life, till the evil-minded Manthara entered. So for those of you who are not familiar, Manthara was one of her assistants, her maidservant, as we say, and she had some other plans in life. So she came and she influenced Kekai. And what did she say? She said, are you a fool? You're celebrating this coronation of Ram? Do you know what's going to happen when Ram becomes the king? And we all know that how she contaminated the mind of Kekai. So our minds are like that. And who we associate with, what sounds we associate with, what channels we associate with, impacts how we react. Did you know that 50% of people, or teens in North America, they are almost constantly on social media? So that's where the association is coming from. And how does that impact us? Does that make us happy? Well, maybe it makes some people happy to see their long-lost friends, but for somebody who's on social media the whole time, there's been studies that show that it leads to higher rates of depression, mental health, anxiety. So it's all about who we're associating with. What are we putting ourselves in front of? For Kekai, it was Manthara. It was very obvious. Everybody knew that Manthara had poisoned Kekai. But for all of us, we don't know where our association is coming from. We should be very careful who we associate with, whose words we let enter our ears, because one seed can grow a tree in our heart that we don't want. So we have to be very careful who we associate with. So the first lesson that I wanted to share is association, or the power of association. The second lesson that I felt of great value, which is related to association, is surrendering to guidance. Which means that when somebody, a well-wisher, comes and gives you guidance, that we listen to it. When a few people come and say the same thing to us, we should try and understand, is God trying to say something to me through this person? Is it for my good? And in the case of Ramayana, we know that Ravana, the evil-minded Ravana, who got really inspired to take up this war with Lord Ram, so many people came to him, so many people. His own wife said that, don't do this is not good for you. He didn't listen. Vibhishan, his very dear brother, told him, don't do it. What did he do? He just banished him. He said, just go away, I don't want to listen to you. I know better. Now this thing about, I know better, don't tell me what to do. And who else came? Even Kumbhakaran, the mighty Kumbhakaran told him, dear brother, do you really want to pick up this fight? I mean, everybody is kind of out of the battle. Just a few of us left, let's wind up, just accept your defeat. Did he listen? No. Similarly for us, if we're arrogant, if we're very well established, I know what I'm doing and you don't mind your own business, then the risk that we put ourselves to is very, very high. And it's important to be vigilant. Vigilant and live a life of humility and simplicity, where we can be corrected. Of course, you can't let everybody allowed to correct you. But if we accept this principle in our life that I live to be corrected, or I don't know everything, then there are ways in which divine guidance can come to us. And that's what we should be open for in our lives. So association was the first one. The second one is surrendering to higher guidance, or being open to higher guidance. And the third one is appreciation. So Lord Ram appreciated every single person who declared his surrender, or who wanted to serve him. He didn't care if you were small or big. He didn't care if you couldn't do a magic feat, or you couldn't jump across Lanka, because just like Hanuman did. Every single service was very important. And like one of our very dear leaders in the Krishna consciousness movement says that for human beings, gratitude is a duty. We should be grateful. But for the Lord, gratitude is an ornament. So he wears this gratitude. He appreciates every single service, every single thing that we do. You know, many times you want to come to the temple, but you can't come to the temple. The Lord sees that desire. Many times you feel like, oh, you know, I'm never going to be able to cook a very nice offering like this somebody does, but I cook and I didn't put salt, you know. For the person who eats it, it may matter, but I mean, the Lord accepts it, and he accepts it with all your love. He carries what it lacks and he preserves what it has. So the Lord appreciates the service, and we know this very famous story of Hanuman and the squirrel. Most of you in the audience would know this story, but like the Lord's pastimes, no matter how many times we bring it up, it's always sweet, it's always fresh, and it purifies the heart. So they were building this big bridge towards Lanka, and all the monkeys, some of the monkeys were helping carry the stones, big boulders, and two of them were writing Lord Ram's name on the stone, and then they were carrying it and putting it in the ocean, and the stones were floating. Which, by the way, also inspires us that if we're stuck and are drowning in the ocean of our fears and challenges, then we can also use the name of the Lord to rise up and float. So there's many ways in which we can chant the Lord's name, but Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya have taught us that we can chant the Hare Krishna mantra. So maybe let's try to get afloat again one more time and chant the Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So Hanumanji was carrying big boulders because he's very strong and mighty. And everybody wanted to help, and there was a tiny little squirrel, and she wanted to help too. And she was carrying a little pebble, and Hanumanji was carrying a big boulder. And then Hanumanji saw this little squirrel carrying a pebble and said, would you move out of my way, because I don't want to trample you. I'm doing big service for Lord Ram. I'm building this bridge, and I need to carry this big boulder. And the squirrel said, but I also want to serve Lord Ram. And he started laughing, ha 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 ha. Do you think you can serve Lord Ram with this tiny pebble? It's not possible, or rather just save the effort and just sit and relax on the side, you know. I got this covered. But Lord Ram overheard this conversation, and he said, for me, everybody's service is dear. Well, I'm paraphrasing it, he didn't exactly say that. But that everybody's service is dear to Lord Ram. It depends on the effort that somebody is making. For the squirrel, that pebble carries all the weight. And for Hanumanji, even a mountain wasn't enough. So it really depends on where we are at. And the Lord knows how sincerely we're trying. Sincerity of purpose is the single most important thing. Everything else is external. Because the Lord knows how hard somebody is trying, and for him that's all that matters. So this is one lesson that I feel is very dear to my heart, because it's very easy for us to compare ourselves with others, or compare other people like you can't sing so well, so just move to the side. Or, you know, I'm going to sing for the Lord. Or, you know, I brought this big flower offering for the Lord. We have this thing of subtly comparing ourselves and our resources and our assets in the service of the Lord, but the Lord doesn't see that. He sees our heart. He sees the love, he sees the devotion. So I just wanted to summarize the three lessons that they're not the three main lessons of Ramayana, they're just the three lessons that stuck a chord with me. So association, shelter, or association and shelter of guidance, or surrender to guidance, and appreciation for service. And it's a little acronym, ASHA, A-S-A, and that means hope. So this acronym, or these three words, or these three lessons give me hope. When I'm stuck in a situation in life where I feel like I don't know what to do, I seek out association. Or when I need guidance, I seek out guidance. When I need somebody to cheer me up or spend some time doing kirtan, I seek association. And when I need something to do that will purify my heart and make me happy, I seek out service. And appreciation for service. And Srila Prabhupada created these temples, ISKCON temples, which are all over the world to provide these three things to every single individual. You can come here for association. You can come here for spiritual guidance. There's structured programs that provide guidance from scriptures. You can get in touch with mentors who can help you with problems and challenges, because we're all in it together. The shades of problems may be different, but it's pretty much the same thing. And the last thing is service. So we can come here and serve as much as we like, not to show anybody, but to just express our love for Lord Rama. So these three things: association, shelter or guidance or surrender to guidance, and appreciation for service. So please try it out. Come to the temple as you are. Take up a little service. There's a lot of service. There's prasadam service, there's cleanup service, there's kitchen service, there's so much more. One of the very special ways in which Srila Prabhupada has given hope or asha to many people all over the world is through his books, the scriptures. Scriptures shine a light in our shine a bright light in our dark lives. Why? So by scriptures I mean holy books, the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. And they shine light in our dark lives. Why do I say that? It's because the scriptures give us knowledge about God. They give us knowledge about how our lives may be temporary, but there's something permanent. There's a permanent happiness waiting for us somewhere. And the scriptures tell us about it. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is said that Maya Mukta Jive Nahi Swata Krishna Dhyan Jive Kripaya Koila Krishna Veda Puran. So bound by the shackles of Maya or material energy, the living entity is really stuck. And so taking mercy, Kripaya, Jivera Kripaya Koila. So to have mercy on these living entities, Krishna, God, comes in the form of the scriptures. These are the literary incarnations of God. They come so we can read them, so we can know about our permanent home, know about a place where there's only happiness, no sorrow, where we can do as much and many things as we like in the service of the Lord. We can be happy and everybody else around us can be happy too. This is the knowledge that our scriptures give us. And Srila Prabhupada translated these scriptures and made them available in many languages all over the world. Just the Bhagavad Gita as it is available in more than 65 languages all over the world. And not just that, these books are available in the temples, but one of the very important things that Srila Prabhupada also suggested is that you are fortunate that you got this knowledge, now go out and give it to somebody else. So don't just eat the cake yourself, share it with others. Because unlike the birthday cake that you may have eaten, this spiritual cake only grows when we share it. So a big focus of this Hare Krishna temple is to share spiritual books with everybody in the temple, outside the temple, on the streets, in apartment buildings, in stores, wherever you can think of it. Just yesterday, a few of us headed out for what is known as a monthly Sankirtan festival. So once a month, we go out to share these books, the spiritual books, with everybody, whoever we meet, basically. And we've been doing this, our team has been doing this for the last 14 years. And we haven't missed 1 month. Yesterday was a really gloomy day. Anybody saw the weather yesterday? Was it nice and sunny, and it was raining. It was raining all day. And it was so easy, we just thought, do you think it's worth it? Let's just not do it. We almost got there, but still a few of us decided to go out. There were 2 teams that went out yesterday. One team went door to door in the Scarborough area, so we went in an apartment building, we were knocking doors, and another team set up at an event. So there was a Yugadi event, so Sachi Mata there and Sacharapatma Mataji, they set up there, and they distributed books there. So they were instrumental in sharing this knowledge. And why are we sharing this knowledge? Again, this knowledge gives us glimpses of the spiritual world, like I said. But you may be really stressed out and I don't care about spiritual world. I'm worried about now. My mind is like all over the place. I have nothing together in my life. My life is in shambles. I don't care what's going to happen after I die. I don't want to see the spiritual world. I want now. I want help now. And these books not only, like I said, provide windows to the spiritual world, but they help pacify the mind now. So when you open the Bhagavad Gita and you flip to a page, you can see how Krishna's words are speaking to you, how Lord Ram's words are speaking to you in the Ramayana. Again, Lord Ram didn't need to enact the Ramayana, Krishna didn't need to speak the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. But all this happened so that we can derive inspiration. So we take this task upon us to share this knowledge with everybody, near and far and wide. And yesterday when we went out, I'd like to share a few stories. It was really inspiring. We went to this apartment building, which we haven't gone. Mahabhagat Prabhu was there, Punya Shavana Prabhu, Madan Gopinath Prabhu, and Vittabhakta was there as well. So this apartment building, it was 20 floors high, and we started at the top. And we were knocking, and we were afraid because we hadn't done this knock-knock stuff since the pandemic. We used to do that a lot, but now we were worried, are people going to open the door? Would they want to know what we have? And it was just amazing. At one floor, we met a lady. She had been here with her husband from Bengal for a very, very long time. And the moment she opened the door, first it was her husband, and she's like, oh, my wife looks at this stuff, and she's busy right now. I was like, why don't you take a gift for your wife? By that time, his wife came over, and she's like, she was in tears to see that there are people who are sharing this knowledge, and she was relishing how important this knowledge is for everybody. She took a Bhagavad Gita and she gave a very generous donation, and then we had to find more books to give her. Because we're not doing this for money. Unlike other people who knock at her doors to ask for something, we're not doing it for money. We're doing it because we want to serve the Lord. Because we want everybody to be happy, because we want to share what we have. Because in sharing, we grow. When we share the Bhagavad Gita, we see that what is it that is changing everybody's life, Maybe I should read it more seriously. So that's the power of sharing. Then we went to another house. This was not an Indian lady. And she was so happy to receive this small book, Chant and Be Happy, where we spoke about how meditation can help you calm your mind, and how there's a scientific evidence to it, and how you can just chant. She chanted with us, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. She chanted with us, and then she was so happy, like you could see visibly her face lit up. And we asked her, would you have some donation to give us, please? We don't need the money, but when you give something in exchange for knowledge, it connects you to the teachers, and it allows you to access the knowledge more. She said, I'm living check to check. I have nothing that I can give you. And there's a leak in my living room, and I need to spend to fix it now. It was a really sorry state. And then we asked her if you have any fruits at home, maybe one orange that you can give us. And she brought that orange, and we accepted it gratefully, and it was offered to Krishna in the preparations. So this exchange of sharing the knowledge and receiving anything small from their heart. Again, I'm not going to be able to buy anything from that orange. And Krishna is not counting, or Lord Ram is not counting. She gave one orange, that lady gave $50. Who's better? No. For that lady, her orange was much more precious than $50 for somebody. So Lord Ram sees our heart. So in conclusion, I'd like to invite you all to, you're now in the Hare Krishna temple, you're part of the Hare Krishna temple. Please take up association, please take up shelter of guidance, please take up appreciation for service, please take up sun service. Implement this knowledge in your hearts and share it with others. For those of you who do not have a book of Bhagavad Gita, please go to the table, take a Bhagavad Gita. If you do not have any other books, please take them. If you have them, please read them. Because these books have the potency to change lives. They have the potency to help us. The mind, it wants to grab anything that comes. Social media, flicking through Instagram or whatever, YouTube videos, some magazine, I don't know. Different people like different things. But that doesn't satisfy. It's like an itch. The more you itch something, the more it grows. When kids have dry skin, we tell them, don't itch it. Put some soothing oil on it. It's a soothing balm. And these scriptures, this knowledge is the soothing balm that will pacify our heart, it will make us happy, and it will give us a beautiful destination to look forward to. They are windows to the spiritual world. So in conclusion, Lord Ram's stories are very captivating for the heart and for the mind, and they are fully capable of giving us a taste of the happiness that the spiritual world has to offer. Let's take the knowledge up, Let just not Ramayana not be a thing that we remember on Ram Navami or the Shahra. Let Ramayana influence our lives in our everyday. Let our acts be kind to everybody. Let's not judge people. Let's encourage each other, and let's share what we have, because that's the mood of Lord Ramachandra. Maybe we can sing the song one more time and then finish, okay? Let's sing. That's okay, we don't have to speak. Vittarasi Dikshunani Dipati Kamaniyam Dashamukhamali Valim Ramaniyam
Thank you for that wonderful class, Mataji. Let's give it